Okay, so lately there's been a whole lot of discussion, we'll call it, more like temper tantrums, meltdowns, and just shit flinging on both sides of the aisle in regards to whether or not white people are the only race that can be racist. I'm going to go ahead and hit you guys with my super big brain, left-wing progressive opinion and say no. Literally every race can be racist. The idea that, like, anybody who is a progressive or claims to be a progressive who pushes the idea that, like, only white people can be racist is actively contributing harm towards the progressive movement, because we need to be able to recognize different types of racism than simple white supremacy. Like, we need to be able to recognize racism that happens from, like, there's a lot of anti-Asian racism in the black community. That needs to be tackled. If you believe that only white people can be racist, then, well, we've just basically completely forgone that entire fucking issue, right? I'd like to see a lot of progressives try to argue that isn't an issue. Colorism, even, is a huge issue as well. Or even you can talk about people like Jesse Lee Peterson, for example, who is literally just a white supremacist. There's literally, like, Jesse Lee Peterson is a black man who is a white supremacist. There's just no way to sugarcoat it, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's just no way to make it sound friendlier than it does. He just is, okay? And he's a black man. We need to be able to recognize that, I mean, I thought we were all in agreement on this, that your skin color doesn't determine who you are necessarily. It doesn't determine your politics. It doesn't determine your beliefs. And while it can determine a lot of your experiences don't necessarily have to turn out one way, right? Not everybody has the same line of experiences, right? And that's how you get people like Jesse Lee Peterson. Anyway, so this video, I actually don't know what it is. My fans have been sending it to me. It only has 8,000 views. It came out a few days ago. And ironically, it came out the same day as the Blair White video, believe it or not. It came out from this channel called Too Blunt, 37K subs, not a shit ton of views, really. Pretty small channel in the grand scheme of things, nothing crazy, not really like anything insane. But let's go ahead and see this. Maybe it's satire, maybe it'll be funny, maybe I'll agree with it, and maybe I'll completely disagree with it. I have no idea what it'll be. Oh shit, hey Chris Raygun, good to see you. We actually have Chris Raygun over in YouTube chat. Said pop leftist YouTubers back in the day confused academic definitions of systemic racism with interpersonal racism, and it ruined discourse for a good 5 years. You are spot on right there. I know he doesn't check YouTube chat, just saying. I do check YouTube chat if I see someone important talking it. You are absolutely right. Yeah, they're like, I remember back in the day, you'd hear like a left-wing person say that, like, there is racism in the world. There is, like, systemic racism. And then people would, like, because people on the left did such a bad job of explaining the way, like, how systemic racism works, then the response from, like, people, I guess you could say on the anti-SJW side of things, was, what do you mean that everybody operating these systems is a racist? I mean, these systems are operated by people, so you're implying they're all racist? Like, what? And that led to just this massive miscommunication between people for a while that led to, yeah, a lot of shit. All right, let's get to it. Can any other race than white people be racist? Let's find out.
Can only white people be racist?
Oh, that's quiet.
Systematically, yes.
No?
No.
What do you think?
The only reason why I would say only is because systemically, there's more power there.
Define racism for me, or at least, do your best.
Yeah, let's see what his definition of racism is, right?
Oh, shit. Wait, is this like a response video? Wait, are we going to agree with this guy? Oh, no. Is this a case of people in my Discord doing that thing again where they put videos that I'm going to agree with in my stream suggestions section for me to cover? And they're like, hey, Zan, you should react to this video by a person who's just making arguments you agree with. This better not be that. I'm starting to get vibes. This might be a video that I agree with.
Right, because there is a definition for it, and then there are, I guess, alternate definitions, because we're not going off of the same word.
A system that favors one group over the other one and uses state policy to enact it.
White people go to a DMV, that has no lines, but the black people have to go and the Hispanic peoples have to go to a DMV that has a bunch of lines because the government has a system where, they...
Okay, this person's a conservative. Okay, this person's definitely a conservative. I think what they're trying to do right now is like, I think he's trying to make a reference to voter ID laws right now. Basically, something that quite a few states have tried to do. I think it was either North or South Carolina. One of the Carolinas tried to do a law that would require that you have like some sort of license or ID to present when you go to vote. Like right now, all you need to vote is just like, hey, this is my address, right? This is my name, address, like all that, and they know who you are. Like the government has your name and address, right? Voter ID law is generally considered not only unconstitutional, but at least insofar as it's been enacted in America historically, very, very racist. Okay? Very racist. And this is why, okay? And I know that he's facetiously making a joke about how non-white people have to go to DMVs where there's longer lines than white people, I guess. Nobody likes to go to the DMV. Lines at DMVs are always long and suck. I have to go to the DMV like in a few days to get my fucking California ID. I'm not thrilled about it. Trust me, it fucking sucks. But we live in America. Or at least I assume this person lives in America, and we are big fans of freedom. In fact, we're big fans of freedom and democracy. We hold the idea that we elect the representatives that make the rules and the laws that we abide by and the policies that change our country. We elect those people. They serve us, right? That's one of the core ideas behind the American dream, like the concept of America. So to put a roadblock in between American citizens and them voting.
Welcome to capitalism, my dude.
When there has been no
I showed my parents a Jesse Lee
demonstration.
Peterson video where he calls Trump the Great White Hope in order to prove to them that he is racist, and they didn't think he was after seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, yeah. I mean, when you, it's hard. Thank you, though, for the $5. Anyway, putting up any roadblock between, the American citizens and voting, I think unconstitutional. Now, for the specific example that I brought up earlier, the one that happened in one of the Carolinas, they tried to do that exact voter ID law, and the Supreme Court ended up finding out that... So basically what happened was there was investigation done, and they found out that the people who were drafting that bill had specifically requested voter data based on race, so that they could break down specifically what types of IDs people of color disproportionately used compared to white people. And then they specifically tried to ban those IDs. And upon that investigation, the Supreme Court found that this proposed voter ID law, and I quote, this is what they said, surgically targets black and non-white voters, I believe was the exact word. They surgically targeted was the exact verbiage they used. I think I got the rest correct. I believe this dude is making a reference to the voter ID thing and like having to go to DMVs or something, and how, oh, wow, it's such a big deal to have to go to the DMV. By the way, it is a big deal to have to go to the DMV, by the way. If you're, like, non-white in this country, chances are, statistically, you're probably pretty poor. And if you're pretty poor, you don't exactly have, like, the time to be driving to the nearest DMV, sitting in line for, like, sitting or standing in line all day, or even for a few hours or a couple hours and going through all that bullshit. Like, maybe you can make the time for it, but it's certainly a deterrent. Because you want everyone to vote. You want it to be as easy for people to vote as possible so they can actually, like, do it. But when you put that big of a roadblock in the way, it's not that people can't do it. It's that you're basically putting too much of a roadblock between people doing something that's completely voluntary and that is their right, and just not doing it. Like, why the fuck would people even vote at all if they had to go through such a hassle just to be able to do it?
Want the minorities to be in lines forever. But the white people can go to DMVs and have zero weight, right? Because the system is there. Do you see how stupid that sounds? You can't change a fact to fit what you feel.
It's a...
I want to say, by the way, broad, like, this is the perfect comparison that you can get between conservative content and lefty content. Like, I just went into detail about, like, a specific case of voter ID law being pushed in a state and what the Supreme Court, after an investigation, found out about it being racist. And then this guy says, so you think that the lines at DMVs in black neighborhoods are longer than the lines at DMVs in white neighborhoods. You got him left wing destroyed, dude. You fucking got me, bro.
Systematic oppression
There we
of
go again.
somebody who's lower than another person.
That's interesting.
Because other races are historically less than white.
Okay, I do really love the the format of talking to random people on the street and thinking like that's a good representation of lefty ideas, right? That was sort of like what sort of did kind of propel a lot of the anti-SJW content back in the day, was like more or less, whether it was the intent of many creators or not, like when figures like Big Red, who I'm pretty sure was just like a random lady on the street and whatnot, become representatives of the left, and they, against their will and certainly against our will, it ends up giving off the impression that like these random nobodies in the street that do not have any more education or knowledge on these issues than the average person are like a representation of the left's ideas, right? It's a very common tactic you see with like conservative content. Like you really don't see this kind of content with lefty stuff. I guess the closest you can get is Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, and that doesn't even like attempt to like make fun of or like trap or corner anybody that they interview. Like this conservative content where it's like walking up to random people on the street and asking them questions, like Caitlin Bennett and whatnot, it's specifically going out, it's like obvious. We've seen this content. It's like obviously going out of their way to like trap someone in and like get them in gotchas, and they're trying to get clips of random lefties in the street getting owned. But when you watch Andrew 5 with Andrew Callahan, it's just him basically silently holding up the mic for random conservatives at protests and shit to have meltdowns they'd be having whether or not the cameras and the microphone was there anyway. And the point is more so to make fun of these individual crazy people than this is a representative of whatever group this is, right? Hey, Ethan, what's up? New background, Ethan. I completely moved around my streaming setup. I think it goes pretty hard. What the fuck are we in 2016? What's the vid we're reviewing? It's called Proof Only White People Can Be Racist. It's going pretty well so far.
People
Really?
cannot be racist against the higher up, which is the white person.
Who's the racist?
Okay, hold on. Hold on. I want to be clear, okay? This is the one thing me and this guy probably agree on, and that is you can be racist towards white people, okay? Doesn't matter what color your skin is. You can hate another person or another group of people based solely on some immutable characteristics, okay? There's nothing stopping you just because your skin has a certain amount or lack thereof of melanin.
This one here saying another race is more superior than the others? You just said that. I am no lesser than a white man, an Asian man.
Dude, conservatives saying that acknowledging the existence of like white privilege is saying that white people are superior to black people. That's what he just said, by the way. It's a very common conservative talking point, unironically, that saying that there are certain systems in our society that give white people a certain amount of privilege and benefits over black people means that you're the real racist because you're saying that white people are better than black people. I want you to try to like connect that logic there. And the reason why it's not making any sense, the reason why those connections you're just having a hard time forming them is because it's a straw man. People like this, conservatives, right-wingers, reactionaries, they cannot honestly engage with any discussion or any debate or any topic that's being discussed. They can't do it. They're incapable of it. Conservatives exist in a different plane of reality. They're liars. Their entire ideology is built on nothing but lies. So they have to misrepresent and strawman their opponent's position in order to even come out with a video that's entertaining to people who already agree with him. He doesn't even need to convince anybody with this video. Conservative content does not need to be convincing. Conservative content can just do what it does on its own, just make fun of lefties and make edgy jokes and whatever. And conservatives who already agree with it will watch it, and they will drool, and their little smooth, quivering little brains will just seep out more brain cells and die a little more every single day as they watch it, okay, they don't give a shit. And the YouTube algorithm will push anybody who watches like Joe Rogan or Jordan Peterson, like stumbles across that on YouTube. The YouTube algorithm will push them to this content, and by then they're already susceptible to these ideas. So by that point, they're already a smooth-brained, quivering, drooling moron. Like, really, conservative YouTubers have it down pretty fucking easy if you think about it.
Or another black man. It doesn't matter what his race is. If him and
That
I
was
have
Robert
the same
Downey Jr.
credentials and we got to get that job, guess what? I'm going to have to do the best that I can to convince the person who's hiring to take me for the job. Show them my value, okay? This systemic word, this systemic racism, all of these buzzwords, these easy to use words to just make you feel like, yeah, I just said something that makes so much sense. Ain't no
I don't know what else there is to say other than this is just like proud and blatant anti-intellectualism, you know? Like, you bring up like studies and data and entire fields of sociology and criminology and just entire fields of social science where the entire point is to collect data having to do with crime and socioeconomic status to try to determine whether or not these like systems have disproportionately negative impacts on certain races and certain demographics. There are entire fields of social sciences based on these ideas, and this motherfucker comes along and is like, I'm too good for that. I've got my common sense. I can pull my takes out of my asshole, and I'm sure they'll be better than whatever entire academic institutions with peer-reviewed studies and giant meta-analyses with shit tons of data have to say.
no damn victim. What are you talking about?
No, the definition of racism is the belief that a particular race is superior or inferior to another.
By the way, I like to bring this up. Anytime we talk about race relations in America, because conservatives kind of operate on the based presupposition that like all the like just unquestionably horribly racist shit this country has done on a policy level was so long ago that it's really inconsequential now. I like to bring this up because it's really important to point out, and it shocks people every single fucking time. Okay. Do you guys know who Ruby Bridges is? I've done this on stream before, so some of you guys already know what I'm about to show you. Ruby Bridges Hall is an American civil rights activist. She was the first African-American child to desegregate the all-white William Frantz Elementary School in Louisiana during the New Orleans school desegregation crisis on November 14th, 1960. Okay? One of, like, literally has a book about her and shit. Very, very famous person having to do with desegregation of schools. Sounds like, not very, very long time ago, oh, so long ago. You want to see what she looks like now? This is a picture of her 2 years ago. It wasn't like eons ago when all this shit happened, okay? When all this horrible racist shit that America did happened, it was not like eons ago. There are people still alive who had to deal with redlining and segregation, who had to drink at different water fountains than the white students when they were kids. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's hilarious. He pulled out the definition of racism to them, and let's see what she says after he gives her a fact.
Also, prejudice.
Her a fact.
Okay, so I guess he asked them what racism is. Wait, oh God, conservatives. Oh, they're so stupid. Oh God. This reminds me of like when I was on that panel in Texas and they thought that they kept saying, I'm not transphobic because I'm not afraid of trans people. And I was like, what do you think phobic means in the English language? And they said to be afraid of. And I was like, it means averse. When it's used as like on the end of a word like that, it means to be averse to. Like, it doesn't mean necessarily fear. Like, you can be averse to something because of fear, but it means to be averse to something, right? Like, you can really hate roaches, right? Like, you like maybe you're not as scared of them, but you're disgusted by them, so you hate them. You would still say you still have a phobia of roaches, right? I don't know. A belief or doctrine that inherent differences among the various human racial groups determine cultural and individual achievement, usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has the right to dominate others, or that a particular racial group is inferior to others. This is from dictionary.com. It says one right here. Wait, you literally couldn't even like white out the one to signal that words don't just have one definition? Like, dude, conservatives aren't even good at lying when they, like, hide the truth from their audience. Like, you know how, like, Blair White, when she faked her political compass test results, remember that? She faked her political compass test results to say that she was a libertarian when in reality she got the bottom left quadrant. And she forgot to, not only did she forget to change the grade in the link so that people couldn't just type the link in and see what her actual results were, but she even forgot to close the tab on her computer that she was showing on screen where she'd Googled libertarian political compass test results and yoinked the image to, like, replace with inspect element. Like, conservatives are so bad at this. So for those of you guys that don't know, words have multiple definitions. So if you, like, go to dictionary.com or go to, like, any dictionary book or website or anything like that, you'll find a word and then it'll be like 1, really commonly used definition, 2, really commonly, like, second most commonly used definition. Like, there'll be like a bunch of different definitions there, like, because words have different definitions, believe it or not. The English language is a complicated thing and is not quite as straightforward as your smooth brains believe.
Also, you know, prejudice based on race. Where did you get that definition from?
All the culmination of my learning experience.
That means I got it from my asshole.
Just needs to check it.
Also, based libertarian South Park clip. Also, I don't know if I can show that on YouTube. Shit. Or Twitch, at least. I don't know if I can show that. DMCA? Yeah, YouTube's going to give me DMCA. Also, listen, I'm streaming on Twitch today. Twitch isn't a big fan of stuff like that. If I was just streaming on YouTube, I think we'd be okay. But I'm streaming on Twitch today, too. So let's play a little safe. Good Lord. I will say it is ironic that he's accusing this woman of pulling shit out of her ass when that is exactly what he is doing, okay? He is yet to substantiate a single argument that he has made. If me and this guy were debating right now, I would debate this guy into the dust, okay? Like I once said, I would debate somebody on their own life. I would debate this person on his own oppression, okay? I would debate this person into realizing how oppressed they are. It would be just that powerful.
Every definition says, or what it actually means, is what I feel. And if we're gonna talk about race, we gotta be honest about it. Don't come into it with your own definitions.
Is every race capable of that or no?
Are they?
Every race is capable of being prejudiced, yes.
Okay.
But I don't think every race is capable of being racist.
It really doesn't help, like, the progressive cause when I react to a video of a conservative who's making these really broad generalizations and strawmans about left-wing positions, and I'm like, okay, guys, we don't believe these crazy, ridiculous fucking things. And then they bring up the video, and then the random person they met on the street says they believe it. And it's like, yes, they're just some random person on the street, but, like, as far as the internet is concerned, one random person on the street that can be, like, become an icon to represent a entire demographic is all they need, right? Like, Big Red was all the internet needed to create their whole opinion on feminism, right? Like, that's all the internet needed to build their opinion and their, like, stereotype of feminists was Big Red. That's all they needed.
Power! Bruh. The only way every race wouldn't be capable of being racist is if there was only one race. In that case, you wouldn't really be able to say, well, because you guys are all the same. The definition of racism does not say this only applies to white people, by the way. There are white people who are racist against white people. All the other races and vice versa.
Black people could be racist because we kind of like to hold on to
pillow.
Our culture. We don't like other cultures appropriating us. As opposed to like other cultures, I feel it'll be that they're kind of wanting to emulate our culture. So sometimes we like to be selfish with our own. So to me, that's kind of like racist. Why not share your culture?
Isn't like I mean, I get that. I don't know what this has to do with, like, the general meme. I wonder what the person's response is going to be.
With another.
It is true. Like, when it comes to hip hop, especially, it's a little selfish thing. You're like, this is what we created, and you're trying to take it.
Yeah, like white suburban boys are the #1 consumers of rap and hip hop, right? Like, isn't that literally like the statistic? Like the #1 consumers in the country, in the world, of rap and hip hop are white boys from the suburbs, like middle class, like that demographic, literally.
Music is an art form that allows you to express yourself. And if you find hip hop the best way to do it, or if you grew up listening to it, then by all means, you can use hip hop, you can use rap to express yourself.
It's power about certain things that are in place. Like, for instance, if your camera guy got arrested and you got arrested for the same thing, no offense, but more than likely, I would expect, which is really up, but I would expect him to be put away for something a little bit longer.
If there's a
Okay, so this is true, and I don't know what this guy's going to say, but I'm sure that he's not going to have any data studies or any sources whatsoever to back up what he's about to say. But yes, it is in fact true, and it has been found through... I had to read so much bullshit leading up to Texas. A lot of fucking studies and a lot of goddamn data. Take my word for it, okay? That, yes, controlling for socioeconomic factors, controlling for priors, controlling for literally everything you could conceivably argue could possibly mean this data isn't representing what it looks like it's representing. They have found that a black person who has committed the same or extremely similar crime to a white person will get a worse sentence, especially when it comes to violent crime done by a black person to a white person, in which they're extremely more likely to get the death penalty. This is data that is just not contested anymore. Like, it's so set in stone at this point that these are just facts that are true that it's not even contested anymore. Don't let people trick you into thinking it's like a controversial take that, like, in court, like a white person, a black person, all things controlled, most likely the black person gets the harsher sentence. They do. It's not debated in the academic scene. Don't let them convince you that it is.
A white man walking down the street and a black man walking down the street, I would expect that black man to beat me over the head, rob me, and do some bad things to me, right? I know it's effed up, but come on, people.
You know, this, like, reminds me, back when I was a smaller YouTuber, back when I was, like, first starting off and I was, like, a lefty YouTuber, my commentary was dog shit, like, low-key. I mean, it still kind of is, you know? Like, I definitely have a long way to go before I reach perfection, mastery of my art. But did he just 1350? I think he just accused them of 1350ing, which is weird, because she's just some random black woman on the street, not really, like, the demographic I'd consider to randomly 1350 in public, but, you know, it is what it is. This is just not a thing that's debated. I guarantee he's going to have, like, some snide remark to this, and it's gonna be it's gonna be really funny. It's gonna be really just a gut buster.
When those black guys walk by, you just want to clutch your wallet and run, right?
That's right. That's right. Tell that nigger. Beat it, dirty nigger.
That's exactly what you...
I'm on Twitch. Listen, all right, if I get the ban on Twitch, fuck it, all right? I don't give a fuck about Twitch, okay? Shitty platform, all right? Fuck Twitch. Wait, if we get the ban, we get the ban, okay? There's nothing I can do.
She said.
If he was wealthier than me, would that be the same case?
No.
Here's the thing. Whoever has the money to get the lawyer will be the one that will probably face less time or have to sit in jail less. If you can't...
Okay, so the reason why the data represents what it does is that black people, as a demographic in this country, are poorer than white people as a demographic in this country. So, broadly speaking, when we look at the data, black people don't have the money to afford as high quality of lawyers and, like, defenders when it comes to, like, their court proceedings and whatnot than white people do, typically. Obviously, there's rich black people out there that can afford a better lawyer than poor white people out there. No one is arguing that. But I don't like it. It's always hilarious to me. What is the goal, really? Like, at the end of the day, let's assume the left is wrong about these systems being racist, okay? Let's assume the left is wrong. These systems aren't racist. Okay. What is the right's goal in proving the left is wrong about that? And since we know the left isn't wrong about that, and since we know the left isn't wrong about that, what is their motivation in lying? Is an even better question, because we know they're lying. We know they're lying. Come on. Let's find out.
Afford a good lawyer to get yourself out of a pinch? That's on you, basically. You can't really blame the system because you don't have a good lawyer.
Only white people can be racist. What are your thoughts about those
Wait,
people?
what? Wait, yes, you can if you're. Literally one of your literally one of your constitutional rights is to a public, defender to defend you in court, so that you have a fair trial with a jury of your peers. That's literally a constitutional right.
Yeah,
I don't know who's saying that.
It is bullshit.
That seems silly.
Why do you think they're saying that? What do you think about that?
Okay, let's see what he has to say.
I will say, dude, being a conservative YouTuber is like easy mode, dude. Like, you don't have to research anything unless you want to go down the debate road. Like, if you want to go down the debate road, you have to get really good at lying and misrepresenting studies and stuff, so I'll give them that. But if you're just going to upload content like this where you don't actually really have to engage with anybody, you can basically just be the most uninformed motherfucker ever, and as long as you're just repeating the same talking points and making the same exact jokes, conservative viewers will just eat it the fuck up like it's stew, like it's pigs eating slop. It's ridiculous. It's wild. Cons require no skill. I know. It's like I'm playing on fucking hard mode. Defenders given to you can't be that great though, right? Public defenders, I mean, why can't they be great? Why not? Why not make it so that there are better public defenders? Why would that be a bad thing?
Because they're ignorant. And when I say that, I don't mean in a disrespectful way. I mean that they're just not knowing.
So when someone is called ignorant,
that's ignorant.
You automatically take offense to it sometimes, right? But no, I'm ignorant to a lot of things. It just means you don't know. With that, I can understand how they could misinterpret things a certain way. So you kind of have to give them that argument a little bit, but I'm going to take it back from them. I would give them that argument, if they're younger, still in probably high school or middle school, and you're developing. But when you reach adulthood, it is your duty to go out and learn these things so that you don't end up sounding like this.
Only white people can be systematically racist?
They're the only one in the position to be systematically racist.
Okay, this guy, God, you can make the exact argument that they want, the people in this video want to make. Is he the new some black guy? That's a little bit racist, Urban person, but thanks to the 20 secs, I guess. Thank you. Okay, let me make the argument that he wants to make and that the people in this video seem to want to make that for some reason I guess they just can't. Yes, any person from any group of people, regardless of their race, can be prejudiced based on their race. Anyone can be racist by just the definition of disliking someone or thinking you're above someone or whatever, or having an aversion to someone just based on their skin color or ethnicity or whatever, right? However, in our current state of this country, white people hold the vast majority of power. So currently, the systems that exist have a disproportional benefit for white people, while black people are kind of kept down. So while, yes, black people can be racist towards white people, for example, that racism doesn't really rear its head in the same demonstrably destructive outcomes that racism towards black people from white people, for example, seems to. I mean, not that it's not bad if a black person is racist towards a white person. It's just you're not really going to see that represented in any systemic large scale means, it's just going to be Twitter beefs and stuff like that,
And why is that?
Because they're pretty much in control of all the institutes, all the agencies.
In LA, can only Hispanics be racist if they're the majority?
That's hilarious because of the numbers game. You're completely.
So for those of you guys who do not know, when we talk about minorities and majority in the context of social groups, we're not referring to numbers, okay? We're not referring to numbers. For example, in South Africa, black people are the majority of the population, and yet they're still a minority group because the white people there, despite being a minority of the population, numbers-wise, still hold a majority of the wealth and power. So that's typically what minority means. So Hispanic people being the majority numbers-wise in a certain area does not mean that they're the majority now in that area. That's not how it works. Systemic racism exists overseas, too. At the beginning of the pandemic, China deported a shit ton of black folks. Yeah, no doubt, so did a bit. I'm just not as educated about stuff outside of the U.S., so I keep most of my discussion to U.S.-related politics. Jaden Whedon, thanks for the $5. As some black guys similar to Chris Ray Gun. I mean, they were friends, I think, but like in presentation, I guess they were commentary, political YouTubers.
Completely right, but I don't think so. We don't know how everyone got here. Hey, it is what it is. You know, it's none of my business. Let's say half of them got here legally, and let's just say half of them didn't get here so legally. For them to band together 100%, I don't think so, because of just fear, again, for the things that are in place.
I don't know if she thinks she's saying something coherent, but I think a few of my brain cells.
Okay, these are not media-trained debate bro professionals, okay? Speaking about the things that you believe in a coherent way that people can understand is a skill that takes so long to cultivate. It really does. It's something that I still have a lot of work to put into it, but if you go back and you watch my old content from hell, even a year ago, especially if you go back further, and compare it to my content from today, just my speaking skills, just how good I am at getting a sentence out to you guys, has gotten so much better with practice. And it really is just practice that does it. I mean, not everybody has that ability. Not everybody is a super media trained, experienced debate bro, like explainer of their ideas, okay? The vast majority of people will never get into a situation where they have to defend their political views for real, outside of maybe like a Twitter or YouTube or like a Facebook argument. Like outside of that, the vast majority of people will never get into a debate situation where it's like 1v1 or whatever. You got to defend your ideas against this person, and there's an audience. The vast majority of people will never have to deal with that, so they don't prepare for it. Back when Zan was the puncher of Minecraft pigs, yeah, back when I was pig puncher, that's when my content, I think, was just garbage tier, big poopy, pee-pee, cum bucket, shithole stain. Yeah, my content was bad back then.
Fell out of my ear hole after listening to what the hell she just said. Am I the only one? Because I was just like, my brain was everywhere just now trying to figure out what the hell it is that she's trying to computate here.
Black people can be racist towards Hispanics and stuff, so I think that it's based on that specific experience in that moment.
You initially said only white people can be racist, but you just went and said black people can be racist. Any race can be racist. I understand there's a lot of animosity.
I think this might literally just be her, like, I think this is one of those cases where somebody has an opinion that they just kind of like lucked into, you know, they just kind of defaulted into that opinion and they never really thought about that issue very much. And so like the second they receive any pushback on that opinion and they realize like they didn't really have very strong justification for believing it. So like I think what might have happened here was she was asked, can black people be racist? And she said, no, of course not. Like is it just a reaction? And then when pushed back on it even a little, she was like, oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess they can be, I suppose. And now he's like, wait, she changed her mind? What is it then? Listen, conservatives do vilify the idea of changing your mind. Do you guys remember the amount of abuse and bullshit that Hunter Avlone received after he put out his video announcing he was leaving the right? I mean, obviously, a lot of his ex-fans were mad. Obviously, like some conservatives were upset, but like he got like a particularly large amount of attacks because conservatives specifically demonize the idea of changing your mind, changing your opinions on an issue when new facts, new data, new anything that should inform your opinion comes up to potentially contradict what you believe, and so that you adapt your opinion to be in line with reality. They are against that idea. They are against the idea of changing your opinion to line up with reality. It's just basic anti-intellectualism. Yes, Caesar. Good point.
No, there's a lot of history going on.
Hey.
But in today's world, we got to move further.
Bro, you really are playing like with fire, having all of these copyright clips in your videos. You really, really are playing with fire. Like, why would you do that if you're trying to have your video do well? You know that it's not just monetization, right? Like YouTube does actually suppress your video if it gets copyrighted.
Than that. And if we're going to do that, we need to have honest conversations with people, There's a lot of unlearnings to do, and there's a lot of victimhood mentalities that we have to unteach. Any little black boy or black girl that comes by me, I'm not going to teach them, well, you need to fear the white man and you're not no, you're just as equal to everyone.
I will say there has been some cases where like the anti-race, I'm going to say this in quotes, anti-racist education taught in schools has been bad. I think I actually don't know much about it, but Destiny brought it up actually when I was in Texas. So that might actually be interesting to look at now. If I remember correctly, I can't find it right now. I'll literally DM Destiny after stream to ask him for like a link to that like textbook so we can check it out on stream, because I think it's actually kind of relevant. But like basically, apparently this textbook said that black students have to learn math and counting differently than white students. So you have to teach the white and black students differently. That was literally like a thing in one of the textbooks for like elementary school students. Like with the whole like anti-racist education, like CRT type deal. Yeah, like there is some actual sussy shit. Like there was also, I think it was Coca-Cola had it's not actual CRT, but I mean it's being called that, so fuck, I guess it is now. Like then there was the Coca-Cola unironic, like you should hate yourself, you're unironically bad just because you're white CRT training that happened that was super duper cringe. Like something that I think the left needs to start doing is properly educating ourselves in these issues so we know exactly where we need to bite the bullet, exactly where we need to like give way, and exactly where we need to not give way, right? You need to be able to recognize where on an issue you got to give ground, like where you got to admit, okay, the general left-wing opinion on it is wrong here, right? Like maybe it's a little bit too far. And I think if more lefties start to do that more, I think you're going to start to see a lot more people becoming receptive to left-wing ideas when it seems like progressives are less sycophantic about their ideas. You'll notice the vast majority of random conservatives I debate, like say on Omegle, are like surprised when they talk to me, because I imagine most progressives they've talked to in the past have been sniveling, whining, triggered, angry babies about every little disagreement. And so encountering somebody who knows how to keep their composure together, knows how to cite sources, and knows how to actually make arguments and defend my ideas, it's like surprising to them. Like it's surprising to them because the vast majority of conservatives have never even met a progressive that can do a decent job of putting their ideas into words.
Everyone else, it's your job to stand out and be chosen. Like when my daughter is 18 and she asks me, Dad, did you do everything you could to make sure that I had a better life? And if the answer to that honestly is no, then I failed as a father. I don't want to answer and say, well, the white man was holding me down, so no. I'm not instilling that in my kids. My kids are freaking winners. Unless they lose, and they're losers until they win because they got to get better. We ain't giving no participation trophies in this house. Get out of here.
Everybody could be racist.
Everybody can be
in
racist.
one way or another, yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah.
a loaded question, and it's based on psychology, history, geography. There are black people, for example, who are American black people who come from a legacy of wealth, who can be racist against a poor black person, or it could just be multiple reasons why a person feels the way that they do. So I don't think that just white people can be racist.
What's wrong with this guy speaking all intelligently? He brings up a lot of great points.
I don't disagree with this guy. What do you mean?
Not to pick on rappers, right? But there are some rappers that lived in the suburbs their entire life, but you hear them rapping about the gang and gang banging. Like, nah, bro, you lived a privileged life, so get the hell out of here.
What are your thoughts on the people that are saying?
That is true, actually. Like a lot of really popular rappers, like from like the 90s and the early 2000s, that did a lot of the gangster rap. If you actually track their like history, they do not have a hard background, so to say.
Saying only white people can be racist. What are your thoughts on that?
They're just wrong. That's ignorance right there.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. They must be stupid.
There's a big movement pushing that narrative. What are your thoughts on the people that are saying that?
Eminem? Wait, wasn't Eminem literally like, didn't he grow up, like, his songs are about it, right? Like, he grew up in a trailer park, his mom was like a drug addict. Like, those things weren't true? Like, I'm pretty sure those things were true. It seems like those are pretty well accepted facts about Eminem's life.
Great question again. I'm from New York. I'm 55 years old.
Oh, damn. He doesn't look 55.
I come from a time when that was never really used, right? My mother's from the South, Jim Crow South. We never talked about white supremacy. We hear white male privilege and all these things, and kids are throwing them around. And I think what it's doing is creating a division amongst people and giving people power through their emotions and not necessarily on critical thinking or anything like that. It's just kind of like a throwaway thing.
This guy summed it up perfectly. He's like, everything he stated here makes so much sense logically. You can't use your emotions to try to win over an argument or...
I don't disagree with that guy. Wait, I like legitimately, you know that one meme where it's like Twitter is just a girl imagining a guy and then like a bunch of women hating that imaginary guy that doesn't exist? You know that meme? This is like conservative YouTube is imagining a progressive that doesn't exist, and then the whole audience and a bunch of other conservatives attacking that imagined progressive with these ideas that like doesn't exist, or at the very least doesn't exist to anywhere near the scale that they claim it does.
You know, stuff like that. Your emotions do matter, but not when you're using that to drive an argument.
You think it's a damaging narrative?
Facts don't care about your feelings. We're back. We're back to facts don't care about your feelings in fucking 2022. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. Full circle. Full circle, guys. Full fucking circle. Did I not predict this? Did I not foresee this? Did the Xander God not foresee this, that we would be going back to 2016? But you guys have to remember, it's not just going back to 2016. We got to go back to 2014 and experience 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017, the equivalent, before things start to get good again, okay? At least for, like, the left online. Assuming that it continues along that general cycle, that's how long we've got, okay? So, whew. It's going to be a fun 4 years.
Narrative?
Oh, without a doubt. We're all divided, whether it's LGBT, whether it's racism, white, black, whatever the case is. There's all these divisions, and we're all like fighting against each other on things that we really don't understand and the psychology and history behind them.
I want you guys to share your thoughts in the comment section down below about this topic, you know? Let's say the future youth, like in the black community, what is it teaching them saying there's all this white privilege, so you might as well just give up? That's basically what you're saying. This white privilege, it's going to be hard for you. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to struggle. The white people have it easier. And you need to make sure that you stay away from them. Don't trust them because they're going to stab you in the back and they're privileged and they got life so easy. They got all of this privilege just...
There are unironically people that say shit like that, but it's like deranged Twitter weirdos, you know? The contemporary, like, more mainstream, more powerful, actually influential left, like the left that actually matters and has an effect on the world that's worth giving a shit about, doesn't advocate for anything even close to this, okay? And where it does advocate for stuff that I find cringe, I call it out, okay? I do. I mean, I do. There's plenty of examples of it. Go look at my videos. Go just scroll down for a little bit on the videos on my channel, and you'll see plenty of examples pretty damn quick, I think. I mean, criticizing the left for shit that I think is, you know, pretty fucking insane. Maybe where it goes too far. Anyway, I actually have a good comment here. Here, let me just get it so it doesn't get covered up by the text. There we go. Yeah. That's a good comment right there. You guys remember that one like white Republican like politician that like commented on a tweet, I'm a black gay something. I'm a black gay man and I love Donald Trump or something like that, and then it was revealed that they're like a white 46-year-old married dude. That's the meme that I'm going for there. That like you can obviously just click on my channel and see I'm white, but I say in the comment I'm black and I think racism isn't real. That's good, yeah. Did you know that the Sonic Fox is gay? I have no fucking idea what the hell you're talking about. All right. If you enjoyed that intrepid breakdown of that very, very dumb video, then please consider leaving a like because it helps out the video and the channel a lot more than you even realize. And it just takes a second. It's totally free. So just hit that like button. Why not? And of course, if you want to see more from me on YouTube and you actually want YouTube to tell you whenever I go live and upload new videos, then make sure you hit that red subscribe button and ring that bell icon to turn on all notifications. Otherwise, YouTube will not tell you when I go live or upload new videos. So you gotta ring that bell. All notifications have to be on. With all that said, if you want to follow me on social media to get more of me, you can follow my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, as well as join my fan Discord, where you'll find me lurking around there and hanging out every once in a while. It's a great community, so please feel free to join. Link, of course, all for those things in the description. And of course, if you've got the money for it, you don't need it for anything else, and you just don't know what to do with it, you can always support me financially by donating, subscribing, or even gifting a sub over on my website. You could also super chat over on YouTube, Prime sub, subscribe, or donate in bits over on Twitch, donate through Streamlabs, or even pledge me on Patreon. But no matter how you support me, whether it be through a like, a comment, a view, or a financial donation, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a good one.